One of the more talk about what TVA knew. One of the more interesting things I found in my research was a memo from I found it in the U.S. National Archives. All of TVA's papers are historical papers are in the U.S. National Archives in Atlanta. I found a memo in 1964. TVA's director of health sent this memo to TVA's director at the time, the head honcho at the time, and tells him that coal ash is blowing from the Paradise Steam Plant in Kentucky, kind of north of Nashville, and raining down on the cars of TVA employees, and it's eating away at the paint. It's also landing on people's vegetable gardens, and it's eating away at the vegetables. And the health director tells the top TVA guy that they ran tests, and there's proving that there's, quote, like, definitive corrosive properties to this coal ash. And I don't know any material on Earth that could eat away at the paint of people's cars or eat at vegetables that would be safe for people to inhale or ingest in any sort of way. So TVA has had reason to believe since the 60s that this stuff is nasty, nasty stuff. But the federal regulations are so weak that with this coal ash stuff, they would just dig these big holes in the ground, these big pits, and just dump all their coal ash there. And over time, they grew into these pits. They grew into basically small mountains, and that's such as the one that collapsed in Kingston. And the Biden administration earlier this year finally cracked down on power companies and these big coal pits because many of them were unlined. So these coal ash pits, there's 750 of them coast to coast in the United States, and almost all of them leak arsenic or something into the groundwater. And they contaminate, there's been studies done, they contaminate thousands of miles of American rivers each year and contaminate the drinking water of millions of Americans each year. And the Biden administration finally pushed back against the coal lobby and passed some rules this year that said power producers like TVA and others have to monitor their old coal ash dump sites, and if there is contamination, clean up the contamination and move the ash somewhere else. So I'm very curious to see if TVA has to dig up any of its old coal ash pits. They've dug up one outside of Nashville as a result of a lawsuit. I have not seen any announcement where they've said they're going to dig up their other coal ash pits as a result of the new EPA rules on coal ash disposal sites. I'm very, very curious to see what they do.